This is Yankor again. So, the history of my first little spaceship. Now, I learned from Anu that the race in which the spaceships were expressed and developed as. Now, they had like this little. It was with the Anunnaki, so the Anunnaki was more in charge of the manifestation and creation of spaceships. They had about quite a few. I think 7. How much is it? Oh, 7. They had 7 million. Okay, of these little. It was these little round, manifested planet-like structures, but they were smaller than a planet. If you take Earth, make it about 100th, okay, of the Earth's size. That would be how big they were. It's quite huge, I know, but they had about 7 million of them. Okay, now on these little planet-formed structures inside the interdimensional existence, it was like a light yellowy white color, okay? And it had these little tube things like coming out. It was alive, okay? It was like expressive. Now each tube represented a being. There was beings that were imprisoned by the Anunnaki. But what do I mean by imprisoned? Of course, not many were aware of this situation, except regarding the planets. You know, there were like these phases existence went through, that there were beings who wanted to take over the Anunnaki, okay, from the perspective that they wanted to be the creators of existence and seen as the creators of existence. The only way they're able to do that is to take on the Anunnaki. And therefore they got trapped into the becoming of these little planet stuff. From there, the development of spacecrafts originated from. So what would happen is, what they do is they pull out one of these strings, and what they do is if they pull it out of this planet manifested construct, it's like this long yellow, white and white tube. Okay, then they have programs, information shafts that they've written according to a design of a spaceship that they'd like or prefer. For that, they had specific designers. I think the Draconians were more involved in the designing of the spaceships and the programming of these shafts. And Draconians were quite specific beings. Jesus, they were really specific in what they do. They're very articulate. Out of all in existence, the beings I enjoyed the most were the Draconians, though they were really difficult beings. You know, they weren't. They did not take shit. If you'd see them for the first time, you'd go, wobble all over because their presence was magnificent. They're quite astounding, amazing beings. But they were it's strange though, because, you know, they were very in the back, but very strong in presence as well at the same time. You know, it's like you couldn't even cut through them. You know, they were just so, like, goddamn steel. But beautiful creatures though. Beautiful. Anyway. Where we're at. Okay, so you had these programmed shaft chip things, but it's not chips. It's like these little small little shaft pipe thingies, and then had information within them of the design and the manifestation of the ship. Then what it do is it put it in the center of this yellow and white tube. Okay, what it will do, it will start this yellowy white substance of this planet now that I've explained becomes one and amalgamates with this shaft program chip of the design of this entire spacecraft and what it is to become. And within that, it becomes alive. Okay, this program, design, information, shaft, chip thing It would actually start becoming alive and then start growing and developing and expanding on its own and manifesting on its own of information. So basically that yellow light, yellow white tube thing that came from the planet makes that thing alive. And then voila, you have a spaceship. Quick, fast. Well, it took a while though. So it first went into like these hibernation capsule things, within which the spacecrafts were placed for a while and then develop and things like that. And there you have it. So they had multiple designs. Okay, there weren't as much spaceships in existence, spacecrafts. I'd say all in all, there were about 200 billion around there. It's not a lot. That's how much there were. So Anu got me a little spaceship thing. He said this was his when he was little. I'm like, why are you giving me this piece of shit? You know, I want a real great one. And he just said to me, Yankor, start here. Okay. So, got in. Well, this little spaceship could talk, of course, because it was an expression of a being. Which is quite weird in the beginning, you know. Think I'm sitting here inside a being. It's being trapped in this whole thing. You know, what makes it right, you know. And it troubled me a bit, you know, for a while because, you know, I started realizing the unfairness of the entire situation, you know, what went on, what's going on in this existence, that this is allowed and accepted. So, you know, I brushed it off. I said, well, maybe, you know, they deserved it. And here I have now my spaceship. You know, so I started building a relationship with it because, you know, we started speaking and things like that. But it couldn't remember anything of its past existence. It couldn't tell me anything of what really happened. All it knows is it's a large spaceship. So the spaceship perceives itself to be a spaceship, but actually it is a being as a spaceship, but it doesn't know it that way. It didn't perceive it that way. So it was strange. Left it. I enjoyed it. So here I was, Yankor, the first one in my class. Well, class together with Anu, and that had their own spaceships. Well, he had nice ones, of course. My little one, I was satisfied with it as a beginning. So, with my little spaceship, I travel. I couldn't travel far distances because it could only move so far in space and time. Because God knows, you know, he had different existences, different frequencies. Okay, he had different existences. Hear this, in different frequency levels. Okay, then you had different existences in different sound frequency levels. Okay, then you had different existences in dimensional planes. Okay, then you had different existences in and of this universe. You know, you had different galaxies, different universes, different existences on their own. You had layers of multiple different existences, worlds, planets, beings, expressions. It was vast. How far and how much and how wide you could move through. What else? Vibration. God knows. There are different existences on different vibrations. Oh yeah. Oh. But the most strongest of it all was, of course, the magnetics. Call them the magnetics. That's where crown comes from as well. I've known crown since we were little as well. So, okay, this is Yankor. I'll speak to you again soon. Thanks.